Hello, and today we're going to do a tutorial on parameter drivers, Avatar Dynamics 2, and maybe a few other things. I'm not too sure. I have a few ideas I want to bounce around, but to start off with, we're going to do Avatar Dynamics. One of the things I was talking about last time was kind of simple dynamics, things that are not permanent but are like temporary. You know, we had the punch effect, we have nose boops, head paps, things like that. They're on for a little bit and then they're off. They don't stay on like a toggle. I think I talked about that last time where these are more like buttons. They send their signal one time and then they're done. But if you want to make a toggle, you're gonna have to understand parameter drivers. And so we're going to start off with, I've got a few things here. I got myself a candy cane right here because it was free and I'm cheap. And I'm going to give it a parent constraint. And I'm going to give it, oh yeah, VR chat. I wanted to make sure I got the right one. And I'm going to give this, I made two empties. I call this cane on hip. And we got cane on hand. I'm going to activate this guy, set this to 0, and now if I move the cane on hip, it'll move the entire candy cane. And if I move this parent constraint to 0 and this one to 1, now the one in hand will control the entire thing. There we go. Now I just need to set this up to have this on my right hand. So I'm going to move this over here, move this over here, and we're going to rotate it around. We're not trying to be perfect about all this. I could like to do the snapping and oh. I at least want it to be the right way. Then technically it would be like this. There we go. And then all I need to do is move this onto the right hand. And now if we move the right hand, the candy cane goes with it. Huzzah! And now if we go back to our candy cane and change these around again, make this 1, make this 0. Now candy cane on hip. We're going to move this right about here. Now the reason why I'm doing candy canes, as I said before, is it's free and I'm not trying to make money out of anything. So there we go. Now we got ourselves a candy cane and oh, we need to put this actually on the hips. So let's put this right on the hips. Boom. Okay. Let's make some animations here. Cane in hand. And I go to my candy cane. And this will be 0 and this will be 1. We're gonna make another one. Cane on hip. Without that. And now it's just making it set to 0, whatever the default is. I probably don't need this animation, but I'm doing it just because, and I don't need to have the loop time, doesn't matter with those because it's a 1-frame animation. And now we're going to add a new empty cane grab. And let's turn on our gizmo so I can see everything. I'm going to look for a receiver and allow me only. We'll call this cane grab. And we'll just set it to constant. And it is looking for the right hand. And let's also add right fingers just because sometimes I just want to make sure that I get all that right. Oop. And let's move it right about where the candy cane is. We're going to make it a bit smaller. And we're going to put this on the hips as well. Now, what we're actually going to do may seem a little weird at first, but we're actually making 2 layers here. We're going to make a normal toggle. And then we're going to do the dynamics of it. Now this one actually isn't going to do anything. It's going to basically have 2 empty animations, while this one is going to be the one that does something. But this one is going to control this one, if it makes sense. So we're going to make a bool cane in hand. We need that contact that I made earlier. I think I called it grab, cane grab. Cane grab is the other bool we need. And I'm going to have cane on hip as the default, and cane in hand. And this, we're going to get rid of the exit time. Cane in hand true. Oop. Cane in hand false. And if I went into VRC Fury, well, not VRC Fury, Gesture Manager right now, and just look at it, it is now on the hand. And if I go to its FX, and I click on this, it'll change. So now it's on the hand. So we know it's working, and it's working like a normal toggle. And that's what we want. What a lot of people do that's wrong is they'll have the dynamic being the controller for everything. Basically, they'd remove this altogether, and they would do something like if cane grab is true and gesture hand is 1, move cane to hand. The problem with doing that is if people don't see it, or if they show up late, there will be a desync, because this will only happen for when they see it or when they're going on. While this is an actual toggle. This is more of a button, this is a toggle. So we want to convert that to a toggle and not a button. So we're going to make 2 empties here. And I'm going to call this cane grab. And this one right here will be cane let go. Should I have an empty here as well? One more. Yeah, we'll do that. Make this weight. This should be the default layer. And this should be if cane grab is false. Basically, it'll do nothing. Aim grab, false. Nothing's going on. Now if this is let go, so we're going to do with the grab first. So arrow going towards it. If cane grab is true and oh, this doesn't have the gestures. Let's fix that real quick. We need our int. And I'm going to double check that because I always forget how things work. VR chat gesture, oh, parameters. I always forget if gestures is with an O. There is no S. Okay, good. That's what I wanted to make sure. Gesture left, gesture right. Okay. So, if gesture right, because it's right hand, equals 1, which is a fist, then it will be grabbing the cane. And we can actually copy this whole thing. And it's going to be the same for this arrow going towards grab cane. Paste both. And now this is going to be very similar, because cane grab is still going to be true, but gesture right is going to equal 2, which is open hand. And we have our little guide right here from VR chat. Neutral, fist, open hand. So only if your hand is open and your hand is in this area will you let go of the cane. I've seen people doing it where you don't have this, and then it'll just switch between the two really fast, so we don't want to do that. And again, we can copy this whole thing. Copy, because this arrow going towards that, we're going to do paste. Now these guys don't actually do anything. We don't have any animations or what have you, but we're going to add a parameter driver. And the parameter driver is actually going to be controlling cane in hand. So if cane is grabbed is true, we're going to add a behavior parameter driver, add set cane grab to true. And now when we have let go, we have a parameter driver add set cane in hand to false. Now, like I said, these two guys are basically toggling on this parameter, and we can actually go back into gesture manager to show it. Oh, we'll turn. Oh, what happened? One moment. I accidentally turned up my sensitivity. On my mouse. Now okay, there we go. A little bit better. That was fun. Okay. So cane grab is true because his hand is actually next to that. And if I just make a right hand a fist, which is 1. Oh, why are you not doing the thing? Set cane. Oh, that's why. Okay, let's go back. This is why you're always checking things. Cane grab. I did the wrong parameter. It should be cane in hand is true. And if I grab this one, cane in hand is false. Okay, let's try that one more time. So right now, if I go to our animator and parameters, if I set this to 1, the cane goes to hand. If I set to 0, or 0, it stays in the hand. And we can even do the gesture manager. See that it's in the hand. Perfect. And if I have it set to 2, he'll let go. I probably don't even need this weight, but that's okay. I'm going to leave it there. And we can see, if we really want to, we actually don't need, I'm going to set this to 0. We can actually just click on this parameter still, and it still works. So in talks of like VR chat, you could make a toggle in your menu for cane in hand and cane out of hand, basically. And then you could also do it dynamically with no menu just by having your hand in the proper area and doing a open hand or a fist. Fist, open hand. And if I go back to open hand, and to test it even more, I'm going to make it so my character has its hands outward. And now if I do a fist or an open hand, it doesn't grab it. The hand has to be there. Cool, got that all working. Now, that's kind of the end of dynamics. You just have to remember basically what you're doing is you're making yourself a toggle, and then the control for the toggle is going to be the parameter drivers and the dynamic system. So this thing is basically opening up your menu and clicking on this cane in hand parameter. But I want to talk more about parameter drivers because they are kind of fun, interesting, and kind of powerful. So let's go to our animation folder. And I made a few other things as kind of a getting ready for this. And we're going to make a few quick animations right here. We're going to call this cane. And what this will actually do is toggle the cane on. Boop. And I have a hat. And this will toggle the hat on. And I also have shoes. And we're going to turn the shoes on. Boop. And I actually made a cookie. Oh, I didn't make it, I found it. Where's my gingerbread cookie? Gingerbread man, boom. Gingerbread man also needs to have the parameter or the parent constraint, so I'm going to do that. Parent, oh, not part. Parent constraint, 1 and 2. I even made this one in hand, up on hip. And activate cookie on hip. We'll move that. Oh, we need to set this to 0. That way it'll move properly. And there's a reason for all this. I'll get to that in just a moment. There's a reason why I did a cookie and other things. And we're going to set this onto the hip. Oop. And where's my cookie in hand? And we'll put this on the left hand. And we'll set it to the hip area. So now I just made all these toggles to toggle everything on one at a time. And we're going to do bool, cookie, bool, hat, oop, bool, cane, bool, shoes. And was that everything? I think that was. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm making a secret fifth one. We'll call this all. Or I could call it Christmas, but I'm terrible at spelling, so we're not going to get into that. We've got hat, cane, shoes, cookie, and all. This is just another example of kind of a powerful thing you can do with parameter drivers. So make this empty, then we're going to put hat on. Make this empty, going to put the cane on. Make this empty, then we're going to put the shoes on. Make this empty, and the cookie is on. Basically, long story short, if you ever want to have two things to control something, this is kind of how you have to do it. Originally, when I was doing this, I was trying to get clever on how to I could disable the whole component altogether, or I could disable the mesh, or I could make the material alpha it away so that it disappears that way. And then that's three ways I can toggle something off if I really needed to. But there's an easier way just by using parameter drivers. That was a wonderful thing that VRChat added, and I don't think people really know about them. So, and a lot of the components I feel people don't know about. I talk to people every now and then, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know you could do that." So I'm going to show you some of the examples of what you can do with these components. This is the cane. Oop. Now, if you're ever doing this and these aren't working the way they should, you probably have right default on, which I normally have it off, but some people have it on. So all you'd have to do to fix that is these empty states, you'd have to make an off state for the cookie on the cane and everything else. You have to make another animation where basically you have it where it toggles off. Because right now these don't do anything, but the default is what the default is for the entire avatar. So now if we go into Gesture Manager, go into Play Mode, if we were in VRChat, we would have a menu for all these things. We'd have our cookie, and our hat, and our cane, and our shoes. Very nice. I think there is a little bit... Nope. I did a pretty good job. No clipping except for when the feet move. We won't get into that. Oh. They're not going away. I guess this guy doesn't have... Ooh, does have it set to default off on them automatically. Let's see then. Okay then, that's easy to fix. we'll just have to make animations really quick for all those. Cane off. Mm-hmm. Head off. Oop. There they are. Do. And cookie off. Do. It's the hat, I do believe. Yep, hat. Hat off. So it'll be the cane off. And the shoes. And the cookie. Oh. Now let's try that one more time. Cookie on, cookie off, hat on, hat off, cane on, cane off, feet on, feet off. And so that, you could have like a menu for all these things, right? But what if I also want to have one that just turns them all on at the same time? And then you could like turn them on and off individually as you wish. Well, we can easily do that. This will be our wait. Wait. It won't do anything. And then we have this all on. The tricky thing is this is going to be more like a button, and as soon as you click it, which is going to be easy to do in menus because you might hover over it while you're doing that, then it will automatically turn everything on. And we are going to make some parameter drivers. Parameter driver add set cookie to on. We're going to add another one. It's also going to set hat to on. It's going to set the cane to on. It'll set the feet to on. So this toggles everything on. And you will actually see it in your menu if we actually set this up for VR chat with the whole menu. You'll see when you toggle all on, all the things will turn on as well, like at the gesture area. Anyway, so now we have all on, and it turned everything on, and then we can still toggle everything on and off individually. So if you want to be like, this is my Christmas gear setup, you could just click on all and boom, everything toggles on for like a quick get up. But if you only want the hat, you still have the option for just the hat, or if you just want your cookie or the cane or the shoes. And technically I could make this also toggle everything off, but that will get hi baby cat. I have a guest today. Sorry, cat troubles. If you do that, then this might, you might accidentally turn everything off and on. You can do that, it's no big deal. But you basically might get a desync with the things, because if this is on, it'll turn everything on, but then if you toggle this off and still have this on, it'll start to conflict. Anyway, so that's another fun little thing you could do with parameter drivers. Another thing that is like parameter drivers really has changed how I do a lot of things. Um, for example, if you want to make a random, I don't really have anything set up for this. Random. Or I actually had I made an energy system where basically, I do have something kind of set up. I gave him like a health bar kind of thing, but I'm trying to figure out how to make this fit for the random. Exit time, we'll say it's one every second. And this one will also be every second. And basically you could have this adding a parameter driver to, instead of set, if you have an int, like we'll call this health, and it'll go to, oh, set health. Instead, instead of set, you can add to health, and the value will be 1. And then this one down here will also be adding to health as well. Parameter driver, add to health, value of 1. And now these guys will just be constantly going back and forth, add, 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 and we'll see the number for health go up. Or if you want to make, this is kind of like a clock as well, so we'll see it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it just keeps going on. And if I want, I could have that be like, okay, I can only grab something when my health is above 8. So I actually have to wait. Or I could have something where like if after a certain amount of time has passed, then I can do things. I can also have another parameter like a contact, which I did put that on. I did put a contact on my head. Boom. And it's looking for hands or fingers. And I could tell it to be hit. Okay. This is more becoming into more of a health system instead of a random system. Health. And we'll call this hit. And this will be an empty, so it's going to be a waiting. And we're going to say this is if hit is true, which we need to add that parameter. Which is going to be a bool. If hit is true, it is going to set health back to 0. So this will reset. We'll call this hit as well. If hit is false, it goes away. If hit is true, then it'll go down there. Okay. I may need to make a contact sender real quick. Sender. And we're going to call it, make it a hand. And we're just going to zero this out real quick. Okay. Because I made this contact receiver for the head earlier, and it is looking for hands or fingers of either myself or other people. So now we're going to go into Gesture Manager, and we're going to look at our animator. Our health is going up. Just keep going up. And if we hit it, it goes down back to 1. It will continue to grow because the hit center is kind of, it's a one-time deal, even though it's a constant. This parameter driver of the back and forth between the health is overriding it. So if I could also make this stop, oh, that would be a good idea. That would be how you do that. Um, let's see. Health will stop moving only if hit is false. Is the only time these guys will move. If not, they'll stop where they are. So now if we go into this, now it will work properly. So we're going to our animator, looking at our parameters, it's going up. If I move this up, boom. Now it stays right there, and it's not going up. And it won't go back and forth until the center is gone, and now it continues its going up in value. And I actually did something like this for like an energy cannon that I had, and every time it was constantly going up like this, or yeah, it was going up. But when I fired, it would subtract the value, and if it went below, because you can actually go into negative values with these kind of things, with if you made this a float and not an int, you can actually go into negative values, and if it was below 0, basically I made it so that gun would not fire. That was one of the conditions to be able to fire the gun is the float had to be above 0. And also it had like a cool off in a time where after like this little animation went off, it would then reset the value back to 0, no matter how far negative it had gone down. So that was a fun little system. Another thing you can do with all this, well, parameter drivers and other things, is there's something called stop player. I don't know if it's called stop player, but basically you can freeze yourself. And I've been meaning to use this to, come on now, I keep missing. Make this a waiting. You can make it, basically you can make a freeze tag avatar component where if you add, where is it? Player locomotion disabled. And when you have here, player locomotion enabled. So basically what this means is whenever this is on, you can't move. And I could go back to that head pat, that if you pat my head, I literally freeze in place. Or I could say it that if my health gets hit, like if my health got, instead of the health being like a 1 system thing, like it just makes the thing go set to 0. I could instead make this, subtract 10, and if health is ever at 0, then it will stop my player and I can no longer move. So that is a fun little thing. Right now I don't have anything that's controlling this, so I need to give this health less than -5, just so that it's not ever going down there for now. I was going to, in the tutorial, I was going to make it so like you could grab the cookie, eat it, and it would increase the health, and then that would be how you heal yourself. So I could then change this to health is no longer randomly going up always, but it only goes up when I eat a cookie, because I actually have this little put on the hand. But I don't really want to go through all that unless you guys really want me to. These 3 orbs, that would be the health system. I get 3 hits before I go down. And I'd have to make an animation for them all going down. This one, then both of them, then all 3 of them. Then when all 3 are zeroed out, then I would say, hey, stop player, and it would only gain health if I grab my cookie and put it into my mouth, and then I would get 1 health, or maybe all 3 back. It'd be a full heal, depending on what I want to do. But let's go back to the idea of a randomizer, because you can go back and forth. Oh, actually, no, I could do it right here, back to the health one. Where is the health? Because you can have it random. Oh, but you'd need to make health and... Oh, health isn't int, isn't it? Oh, no, this won't work. This won't work. Because we want to be adding. We'd have to have like another state and another layer, basically, to make these two constantly going up. Eh. Now I'm stumping myself. I'm going off of script, going off of ideas. But yeah, having a random is also fun. If you had like instead of being health, like a whole bunch of different options. I'd probably have it as a oh, now I'm confusing myself. Because I thought you had like a percentage with random. Is it only because... Oh, wait. I go to cookie. There we go. Okay, I thought I was losing my mind here. Yeah. Um, we're going to actually just get rid of this one altogether. And now this will randomly hop between each other, and it'll have a random chance, let's say a 25%, 25% chance of turning on our cookie every 2 seconds, because it's going to be 1, 2. So on the first second going down here, that's 1, and I don't have a parameter driver here. And then on the second, it will then might turn on the cookie 1/4 of the time. So if you ever want to have random effects happen, then this is how you do that. And hopefully... There it goes. Cookie's on. Look at that. Oh, and turn the cookie off. Oh, because it also does randomly turning it. It could be 25% of the time it's cookie on, and the other 75% of the chance it's actually setting it to 0, because that's the other state. Okay, yeah. And this is what I was talking about, is like, if you want your character to, I don't know, like have a bubble pop out of their head and have random thoughts coming out of their head. Or if you want to do like an ear twitch, but you don't want it to be so like predictable, like every 5 seconds the ear twitches, you can have this control the ear twitch, or like a tail wag or something of that nature, or a nose nose wiggle if you got like a little nose thing. And also the other problem is I have right defaults off. I always get those confused. Basically, if I didn't have it set to an on and off set, it would stay. Regardless, though, this is how you'd like have a random event happen for your character, something that you don't really control, but it's constantly going on. I hope that shows like the power of what you can do with parameter drivers and dynamics altogether. This is where you start to get into like a lot more advanced stuff that you don't really see or you can't easily do in VRC Fury. And if you saw, I didn't do any of this in Fury. And you just have to remember that you have to put all your parameters into your menu, your actual parameters. Um, uh, this guy right, oh, this guy right here, which he doesn't have any. Okay, that's fun. I wonder where those are. If we went to robotic animation, uh, I thought it would be there. Action layer. These are the default ones, I'm pretty sure. No, no, we don't want that. I was already here. Hmm, interesting. Oh well. I could easily just make a parameter. There's our parameter. And, oh, maybe. Let's try that again. And a menu. And we could drag and drop those in right here. Boop. And boop. And as long as these guys and these guys are all lined up. Is this a float? No, that is a bool. Boop. That looks like a float. Because if I try to put in a decimal, it does, but for ints, you can't do decimal points. They have to be whole numbers. So I know this is now a float. Ear stretch, that is definitely a float. Right ear stretch, float. And these are going to be bools. And that's an int. At this point, you guys can probably go. I'm just having fun. Oh, you're supposed to be a bool. You're supposed to be a bool. Cane. Oop. Oop. Hello? Is my A not working right at all? Trying to save on some time. Health, which was an int. And hit, which was a bool. And I could just do cane. Oop. We want it to be cane in hand. Nope, nope, nope. We want to actually be cane. Hat. Feet. Oh. Oh. Hat. And this would be cookie. And all. And I'm going to make make that a button instead. Going back to the previous examples I had. Oh, that's right. We have the randomizer. It's turning the cookie on and off. That's right. Uh, so cane on, cane off, shoes on, shoes off, hat on, hat off, all on. And I think that's, yep, the cookie comes off. Because we have that randomizer right now. We don't have the actual hat anymore, or the health system. Anyway, I hope that gives you ideas of some things you can do, because now you should understand how to make like a health system, or an energy system if you have like a gun, or an ammo system, because you can easily make this the same thing where like instead of being health, it's bullets, and every time you have, what you probably have to do is like the gun is enabled, and the gesture right equals one, which would be fist, which is kind of what you do when you pull the trigger. Then it'll go down here, and this would be like a parameter driver to make your ammo go down by one. And then you say also on the shooting, which would be a different layer, you can the going down would be again, gun has to be true, uh, and then gesture right has to be one to make a fist, but also ammo has to be greater than some sort of number. Ammo has to be greater than 0, basically. And that would be how you could make it so that you can't shoot your gun because your ammo is too low. And then you need to have some sort of system to refill your ammo. Either it being like over time, like that thing, or you have to grab your well, the cookie and put it into the gun to reset the int or the float for the cookie or for the ammo system. Like there's ways you can do it, and that's kind of if you want a full tutorial on just that, like a gun system with an ammo system, let me know. I could go further into this, but this is where like possibilities start to expand, and that's why I haven't really done anything like video wise for a while, because you can keep going at this point. Like um, you can start getting into some fun game systems in your chat character. As I already said earlier, we could have make it that when my health goes to 0, my character can no longer move. It actually locks your motion in place. You can still like move your feet, your hands, your head, and talk. You just can't use your controller to move anymore. It locks that in place. And that's actually, like I said, I want to make a freeze tag system where anyone can play in any world instead of just the magic freeze tag world. As long as everyone has the system, it could be like, okay, you choose to be a tagger, everyone else chooses not to be tagger. If tagger is true, it would have a contact center aura around him, and then also you'd need to have the hand of the sender or the tagger tag a person, and then bada bing bada boom, you're now frozen, and then everyone else would have an aura of you know uh, not tagger, and if their hand is in your contact sender or contact receiver and the hand is there as well, it would defreeze you. And then you could even like have an animation where like an ice cube goes around you, just like in the freeze tag world. There's a whole bunch of stuff you could do. Um, anyway, don't really have an ending for this, but I hope, like I said, you can put these in your toolboxes. If you need help with this, or if you have questions, or if you have ideas, you can always send a message to me through YouTube, or I don't think, do I have my Discord linked anywhere? I might have to do that. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful evening.